When the baby hit the floor with a soft thud, the sound barely carried, but Shadow heard it first, and his sudden, frantic reaction made Mira sprint before she even knew why. Mira Hawthorne dropped the wooden spoon she had been using to stir a pot of lentil soup. The clatter echoed through the open concept kitchen, but she didn't hear it. She was already running. Her heart hammered as she turned the corner into the living room. Her husband, Aaron, was already descending from the upstairs bathroom, his shirt sleeves rolled up, toothpaste still foaming a little at the corner of his mouth. In the center of the woven gray rug lay their 3-year-old son, Theo, flat on his back. His arms curled inward like small, frightened wings. His bottom lip trembled before a wail tore out of him, sharp enough to slice the silence in half. And standing over him, muscles rigid, tail stiff, ears forward, was Shadow, their 5-year-old retired canine Belgian Malinois. Shadow wasn't trying to comfort him, not sniffing gently, not backing away in guilt. He was guarding him, awed, alert, breathing hard, as if he'd run a mile inside their quiet house. "Theo!" Mira cried, scooping the boy up. Aaron froze halfway down the steps. "What happened?" "He knocked him over," Mira said, her voice cracking. "Shadow shoved him." The dog didn't blink, didn't lower his head. Instead, he leaned forward, nose twitching, eyes fixed on Theo as if studying every breath the toddler took. Shadow woofed once, a low, urgent sound that didn't seem like aggression, but wasn't gentle either. "That's the second time today," Aaron muttered, rubbing his temple. "And it's only noon." "You tackled him, Aaron. Shadow's never done this." Theo clung to Mira's shirt, crying. His legs shook. His forehead glistened with sweat. Shadow stepped forward. "No!" Mira snapped, placing herself between them. The dog froze, but his chest still heaved like a creature fighting some internal battle neither of them could understand. When they adopted Shadow 8 months ago, the rescue officer had warned them. He was a search and alert dog, not a bite dog. He trained for medical detection before budget cuts closed the program. He's smart, too smart sometimes. Give him structure. They had done everything right: training, schedules, enrichment toys. Shadow had always been calm, gentle, steady, until this week. Now he paced the hallways at night, whined at closed doors, followed Theo everywhere like a shadow, too close, too intense, too aware. At first they thought it was a protective instinct, but shoving a toddler to the floor, pinning him down with a paw, barking when Theo tried to walk away, this wasn't protection. This was obsession. By late afternoon, the house felt suffocating, heat pressing through the windows, AC struggling, everyone tired from the emotional whiplash. Theo refused his lunch. He only wanted water, cups and cups of it. "He's probably dehydrated from crying," Mira murmured, handing him another sippy cup. Shadow watched from across the room, trembling. His eyes tracked the boy like twin lasers. Every time Theo swayed or rubbed his eyes, Shadow tensed as if preparing to leap. Once, when Theo tried to climb onto the couch, Shadow barked sharply and blocked him with his entire body. "That's it," Aaron snapped. "I'm putting him in the mudroom for a while." Shadow growled low in his throat, not vicious but terrified. "Did he just growl at you?" Mira whispered. Aaron grabbed Shadow by the collar. The dog braced his legs, refusing to move. His gaze flicked repeatedly to Theo as if begging them to understand something he couldn't communicate. "Aaron, just leave him." "No, he's becoming dangerous." Shadow was dragged to the mudroom. The door shut. The lock clicked. Shadow began pacing immediately, footsteps tapping a frantic rhythm on the tile. They put Theo to bed early. He fell asleep almost instantly, cheeks flushed, breathing shallow. "He's probably just exhausted," Mira whispered, although her stomach twisted with unease. By midnight, both parents were asleep. By 1 a.m., the house was still. By 2:15 a.m., the howl began, a piercing, mournful cry unlike anything Shadow had ever made. It vibrated through the vents, echoing up the stairwell. Aaron covered his head with a pillow. "He just wants out, ignore him." Mira tried. For 10 minutes, they listened to Shadow's voice fracture into whimpers. Then barks. Then something like panicked sobs. Then came the thumping, hard, repetitive. "Is he hitting the door?" Mira asked. Aaron groaned. "I'll take care of it in the morning." The thumping grew louder. Then louder still. Then, crack. "Fine," Mira huffed, swinging her legs out of bed. "He's going to break the hinges." The mudroom door opened before she even touched the knob. Shadow slammed into it from the other side, stumbling into the hallway, nails scrambling across the wood floor as he sprinted. Not toward the back door, not toward his food bowl, not toward his water. He ran upstairs. "Shadow!" Mira hissed, her throat tightening with dread. The dog's frantic paws skidded on the hardwood as he turned the corner into Theo's room. If you felt the emotion here, please subscribe and be part of a community that values real, touching stories. The nursery door creaked open. The latch never caught quite right. By the time she reached the landing, Shadow was already at the crib. She heard him. A high-pitched whine, a desperate cry, then scratching. Frantic scraping as he tried to climb the crib rails. "Shadow, stop!" He didn't stop. He shoved his head between the bars and nudged Theo's shoulder violently. Mira rushed in, grabbing Shadow's harness and yanking him back. The dog spun toward her, and she saw the whites of his eyes. Wide, terrified, begging. "Get away from him," she whispered, voice shaking. Aaron appeared behind her, baseball bat in hand, breath uneven. "Is he attacking him?" Together they dragged Shadow backwards. He bucked like an animal trapped in fire. He wasn't trying to bite. He was trying to get back to the crib. Shadow screamed, a ragged, horrifying sound neither of them had ever heard from him. They shoved him into the hallway and slammed the door. Shadow immediately hurled himself against it, claws shredding the paint. "That's it," Aaron gasped. "He goes tomorrow. No discussion." Mira wanted to agree. She really did. But something in her chest twisted. Something felt horribly, horribly wrong. She went back to the crib. Theo lay on his back, one arm limp at his side. Sweat dampened his temples. His pajama top clung to him as though he'd been drenched. "He overheated," Mira muttered. "That has to be it." She touched his cheek. Her hand recoiled. Theo's skin was cold. Ice cold. Not warm from a summer night. Not flushed from crying. Cold like something inside him wasn't working. "Theo," she whispered. He didn't move. She jostled him gently. Nothing. "Theo!" Her voice rose in panic. Aaron rushed to her side. The moment he lifted the boy, Mira's heart slammed into her ribs. Theo's body hung limp. His head lolled back unnaturally. His eyelids didn't flutter. His lips were pale, almost bluish. "Call 911!" Aaron shouted. Shadow clawed the door behind them, whining in agony. The next 10 minutes blurred into a nightmare. The operator's calm voice clashing with Mira's sobbing, Aaron giving rescue breaths on the floor, Shadow howling outside the nursery door like something was killing him. Then the sirens arrived. Paramedics burst into the room. "Unresponsive toddler," the lead medic called out. "Check vitals." A woman named EMT Calderon leaned close to Theo's face. She sniffed, paused, sniffed again sharply. "What did he drink tonight?" she asked urgently. "Anything sweet? Juice? Sports drinks?" "He had apple juice, like 3 cups, Mira whispered. Calderon pricked his heel. A machine beeped a warning tone. Her expression hardened. "We've got critical hypoglycemia," she said. "His blood sugar is dangerously low. He's slipping into a metabolic coma." Mira's knees gave out. "What? He's not diabetic." "Type 1 can hit suddenly in toddlers," Calderon replied, drawing a syringe. "No warning, no symptoms until the crash." She injected him quickly. Theo didn't flinch. "If we'd gotten here 10 minutes later," the medic said softly. "He could have lost brain function." Shadow whimpered outside the door. The paramedics carried Theo out and Mira followed, numb. 3 agonizing hours passed in the pediatric ICU. Machines hummed. If fluids dripped. Aaron cried silently beside the crib. At 4:30 a.m., Dr. Ellis, a calm man with silver-rimmed glasses, entered. "You two were incredibly lucky," he said gently. "Nighttime hypoglycemic crashes often go unnoticed. We call some of them silent drops. No crying, no twitching. They just stop." Mira shook violently. "What woke us?" she whispered. "We don't know. He didn't make a sound." "Something must have alerted you," Dr. Ellis said. "Did your baby monitor go off? A noise in the room? Anything unusual?" Mira and Aaron exchanged a long, heavy glance. Aaron swallowed. "Our dog. A trained diabetic alert dog?" the doctor asked. "No," Mira whispered. "A retired canine from a detection program. But we didn't know he could do this." Dr. Ellis nodded slowly. "It's rare, but not impossible. Some detection dogs can smell chemical shifts in blood sugar hours before a crash. If he sensed the change, his behavior would appear frantic or aggressive." Mira covered her mouth as tears burst forth.
He shoved Theo earlier, she choked. We thought he was hurting him.
He was trying to warn you, the doctor said softly, trying to stop the symptoms from progressing. 2 days later, Theo was weak but awake, tiny sensors now taped to his upper arm. When they entered their house, everything was quiet. Their neighbor, Mrs. Langley, had come earlier to let Shadow out of the mudroom. They found him lying on Theo's playmat. He didn't get up. He didn't wag his tail. He only lifted his head slightly, eyes filled with hesitation. As if afraid they were still angry, Mira collapsed to her knees. "Oh, Shadow," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry. We didn't understand. We didn't listen." Shadow lowered his body, belly to the floor, crawling toward her inch by inch in a submissive gesture he'd never displayed before. Aaron entered with Theo in his arms. He knelt too. "It's okay, boy," he murmured. "Check him." Shadow hesitated. Then he moved forward. The dog pressed his nose to Theo's cheek. He inhaled deeply, slow, methodical, assessing. He held the breath, processed. Then finally, he relaxed. A long, exhausted sigh escaped his chest as he rested his chin gently on Theo's legs. For the first time in weeks, Shadow didn't tremble, didn't pace, didn't whine. The scent was right. The boy was safe. His job, his instinct, his purpose had been fulfilled. A week later, they received a call from Officer Reese, Shadow's former canine handler. He had heard about what happened from the rescue coordinator. "Shadow detected a metabolic crash?" Reese said, stunned. "I knew he had a nose, but... wow." "Did he train for this?" Mira asked. There was a quiet pause. "Well," Reese said slowly, "he wasn't officially certified, but during training, he caught anomalies the other dogs didn't. Breath changes, chemical fluctuations in samples. He alerted on cases the program wasn't even testing for. They said he was too sensitive, too reactive. That's why they cut him from the medical detection list." Mira's breath hitched. "But he wasn't wrong," Reese added gently. "He was early, too early to prove." Her eyes filled. "He wasn't being aggressive," she whispered. "He was trying to save our son, long before we even knew anything was wrong." "That's Shadow," Reese said proudly. "He doesn't quit, not until his human is safe." That night, after Theo fell asleep with his new glucose monitor blinking softly on his arm, Mira checked the baby monitor. The room was peaceful. Theo breathing steadily, nightlight glowing warmly, and on the floor, pressed right up against the crib, Shadow. His nose rested between the bars, eyes half closed. Ears relaxed, chest rising and falling in calm rhythm. No pacing, no whining, no obsession, just quiet vigilance. The house didn't need alarms, didn't need sensors. It had Shadow, and he wasn't going anywhere. Not tonight, not ever again, because the pack was safe. The scent was right. And Shadow, the retired K9 no one believed in, had finally found the mission he was meant for. If you love dogs, please subscribe and turn on notifications to see more heartwarming stories of loyalty, love, and courage.